You know what blows my mind? Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the greatest footballers of all time. The man has nothing left to prove. He's got all the trophies, the records, the fame, and yet, while most people would slow down, relax, enjoy the rewards, Ronaldo shows up every single day with the same hunger, the same drive, the same discipline. He eats clean, sleeps early, trains with military precision. No late night parties, no randomness, just pure struggle. You might think, well, yeah, he's rich and famous, of course he can do that. But he's not disciplined because he's successful. He's successful because he's disciplined. And that right there is the whole point of this video. We've made discipline this boring, robotic thing, like it's punishment. But what if it's the opposite? What if discipline is actually the secret of doing the things that matter? Even when life gets messy. Not the toxic hustle kind, not the green until you break mentality. I'm talking about the kind of discipline that gives you freedom, the kind that helps you become who you really are, not just who the world expects you to be. So today, let's break it down. No cliches, no hype, just the truth about discipline. Why it's so hard and how to make it actually work in real life. Have you ever said, that's it, starting tomorrow, I'm getting serious? Maybe it was the gym, studying a side project, or waking up early, but then nothing really changed. You felt bad, maybe even called yourself lazy. I know, here's what I wish someone told me earlier. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. Even when it's ugly, even when it's slow. Today, I want to share what discipline really is. Beyond the hustle talk, the 4 a.m. club, the no days of energy. The truth is, the discipline that lasts doesn't look cool, it looks quiet. First of all, discipline is not punishment. It's not about suffering. It's not telling at yourself to be better. And it's not about copying someone else's morning routine and hoping it magically works. We often think discipline is control, but control usually comes from fear. Fear of failure, of judgment, of not being enough. Discipline, the real kind, is about care. It's about showing up because you respect yourself. Like brushing your teeth. You don't do it because someone forces you. You do it because it's part of taking care of yourself. And the first few times you did it, you didn't even know what you were doing. Same goes for building any habit. It starts messy. It starts small. Discipline doesn't start with willpower. It starts with identity. If deep down you see yourself as someone who never follows through, no habits tracker or planner will fix that. The brain wants to prove itself right. So if your story is, I never finish things, you will keep finding ways to live that story. The real change happens when you shift that story. Discipline isn't about copying someone else's strategy. It's about building your own system based on your life, your energy, and what actually matters to you. Let's get real. A lot of times when we struggle with discipline, it's not about laziness. It's about how we feel. You can't focus when you're anxious. You can't commit when you're overwhelmed. You can't stick to a routine when you feel disconnected from why it matters. We think we need to push through, but what we really need is to pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? Maybe you're tired, maybe you're worn out, maybe the goal isn't even yours. It's someone else's idea of success. The more you understand your emotions, the more space you create for discipline to grow. Because discipline isn't about shutting your emotions down. It's about listening to them and still choosing to move. Let's talk practical. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. That kind of thinking usually backfires. Improve just 1% every day. That's it. 1%. Write 100 words today. Tomorrow write 110 words. Walk for 10 minutes today. Awesome. And tomorrow walk for 11. Small steps, repeated consistently, lead to big changes. But more importantly, it builds trust. Because the real magic of discipline is that it teaches you to believe yourself again. When you say I will do it and then you actually do, it rewires how you see yourself. That's how confidence is built. Motivation is not reliable. Some days you feel great, other days not so much. So what do disciplined people do? They don't wait for motivation. They build systems. A system is anything that improves friction, like setting your clothes out the night before, like putting your phone across the room, like setting a timer for 10 minutes and just starting. Systems make discipline easier because they reduce decision fatigue. Every decision takes energy. The fewer decisions you have to make, the more energy you have to follow through. So stop trying to feel ready. Start building systems that support you, even on low energy days. The difference between people who keep going and those who give up is how they respond after messing up. They don't spiral. They don't shame themselves. They pause and ask, what happened? And try again. The bounce back is more important than the breakdown. So next time you fall off track, don't say I blew it. Say that was one day. I'm still in this. This might sound strange, but here's the truth. Discipline creates freedom. It frees you from regret, from chaos, from the sinking feeling of I keep letting myself down. When you have discipline, you trust yourself more. You build momentum. You feel proud. Not because you're perfect, but because you're consistent. And that changes everything. Because now you have time, you have energy, you have space to rest, create, live without guilt. Discipline isn't a cage, it's a tool. And the better you use it, the more freedom you unlock. I don't know where you're at right now. Maybe you're stuck. Maybe you're trying and failing. Maybe you're just tired of starting over. But I want you to hear this. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're just learning. Learning to trust yourself. Learning to show up. Learning to stay kind. Discipline is more than just a habit. It's self-respect in action. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a tiny one, it tells your brain, hey, I'm someone who matters. I follow through. I show up for me. And that builds something powerful. Self-trust. Without self-trust, everything feels shaky. You might have dreams, but deep down you won't believe you can pull them off. You will always second guess, always feel like you need someone else's permission. But with discipline, that changes. You start holding your head higher. You stop chasing approval because you already know you're doing the work and you don't need to prove anything to anyone. So if you've been hard on yourself, if you've been thinking I'm not good enough, just pause and ask yourself, what would it look like to respect myself just for today? You know those people who seem always motivated, like they never get tired, never lose focus, always on the grind. Here's the truth. They're not always motivated. They're just disciplined. And here's something even deeper. They've made peace with boredom. Yeah, that's it. They know that not every day is exciting. Not every moment feels inspiring. Sometimes it's just boring, repetitive, quiet. But they keep going. Not because they're special, but because they stop chasing motivation and start trusting their systems. So if you're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect setup, don't. The people